It is East Waterloo and Iowa City West getting ready to meet in the 4A semifinal for the right to take on unbeaten and top-rated Hoover tomorrow night for the 4A championship. Trojans, who you take a look at there, come in with a record of 17-5. They finished third in the Mississippi Valley Conference. They are not rated. They are seated 7th in the field. But nevertheless, Steve McGraw likes his team, and he likes their chances in this ballgame against number 3, Iowa City West. Let's go back downstairs now to Tim Seaman.
Mr. Basketball maybe right here in Iowa. Let's go back up to the fellas in the booth. Guys?
Iowa City West and East Waterloo coming up, and we'll be back at Veterans Auditorium in just a moment. Larry Morgan and Jim Hallahan back at Veterans Auditorium, where it's East Waterloo at 17-5 and Iowa City West at 21-1, getting ready to match up. Jim, let's take a look at East Waterloo first as they leave the floor. They're a team always known for, as you say, spreading the floor and their great quickness.
Well, they're just tremendous quickness. You look out there, 5'10", 5'9", 6'1", 5'11", 6'2" is their big guy, and yet they can all handle the ball. They have good quickness. They all seem to be able to shoot the ball from the perimeter, but their ability to break down the defense from every position and drive to the basket is their strength, along with their team defense.
Now, they were not ranked at the end of the year. In fact, just very briefly at midseason appeared in the ratings. Let's take a look at how they got to state. Not expected to be here, but they certainly served notice when they blew out Dubuque Senior. And then they got here and beat the team that people expected to play here this afternoon.
Well, I think a team like Easton has the great tradition. At any time, you can rise up and play well. They play in a great league. They had some problems early in the year, and they actually had to get rid of some kids and had to kind of redevelop their team. But the team did come together, and that's probably the most important thing at this time of year, that your team is totally focused on what the coaches are telling you to do, and you're focused on each other and trying to make each other better. And that's how they're playing, very unselfish right now.
Great game against Sioux City West, which, of course, was the runner-up in 4A last year. That ball game, no more than 5 points ever separated the teams. Finally, a couple of free throws knocked down by James Linda with 28 seconds to play gave East Waterloo the victory. As far as the road to state for the Iowa City West Trojans, their road to state really a little bit easier.
Well, they're a strong team. I like this team. I've seen the Iowa City teams play football and basketball, and they always seem to be physical players. You're going to see a great defensive team today. You're going to see kids that handle the ball and don't make many mistakes and really have a lot of confidence. They really have confidence in their games.
They've worked their way through some adversity. They had 6 players who were out for disciplinary reasons at one point in the season. They came back, and they've had some injury problems. They fought through that. Glenn Worley missed some games with a broken finger, but they've advanced all that, and they now come in with a 21-1 record. We'll be back with the starting lineups after this word from your local station. East Waterloo under the direction of Steve McGraw, and Iowa City West under the direction of the Division Coach of the Year in the Mississippi Valley, the champs of the Mississippi Valley's Mississippi Division, Steve Bergman, getting ready to square off in this 4A semifinal, with the winner advancing to take on the Hoover Huskies. Hoover with an impressive 71-37 victory over Bettendorf. As you take a look at East Waterloo, Bobby Thomas, the guy who really makes them go.
Well, any team that's going to have success this time of year has to have somebody making good decisions, just as we saw David Newman do in the game before. And your point guard is a key man. And this team, the only thing is they got about 3 or 4 guys who can play that position. But the young man you mentioned has done a great job of leadership for them. He's pulled the team together and really playing outstanding basketball.
You look at his game against Sioux City West. 6 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists. That's a great line.
Exactly. In that kind of game, in every possession counted, that's a heck of a line for a point guard.
Another big story for East Waterloo is late in the year, final week of the regular season, they bring up a sophomore to play center, B.J. Mosley. Steve McGraw said, we needed some toughness. He brings it to us, and that's why he made the extraordinary move. And now this guy's starting in the state tournament.
I looked at him, and I saw sophomore, and I looked again, and I saw sophomore. I thought, whew, this guy looks like a senior to me. He's got to be a good football linebacker or something, because he's got a great body on him, and he has given them a presence inside that they probably didn't have before. And that takes the pressure off the other players when you have a big, strong guy inside that can control the lane.
Real spark plug for Iowa City West is Ryan Kopstick, who averages 13 points a game coming off the bench, so he's somebody we'll also keep our eye on today.
Very strong.
Now let's meet the players. Here's the public address announcer, Bob Wilson.
Game number 26, the final semifinal game of the tournament. This one in Class 4A on the scoreboard. Listed as the visiting team will be the Trojans of Waterloo East. And listed as the home team, the Trojans of Iowa City West. First, the non-starters for both ball clubs. Number 3 is Les Wilder. Number 10, DeMarcus Winter. Number 15, Derek Salas. Number 21, Romandus Smart. Number 22, Russell Dixon. Number 33, James Linda. Number 35, Jared Downing. Number 40, Nate Mielke. Number 50, Joey McCraney. And number 51, Laverius Riley. The assistant coaches for Waterloo East, Brian Jones, Larry Jones, Carlos Frazier, and Henry Huddleston. Now for the Trojans of Iowa City West, 00 is Brett Johns. Number 5 is Curtis Jones. Number 14, Ryan Kopstick. Number 23, Sean Lewis. Number 30, Bernard Gatlin. Number 32, Jared Gatlin. Number 34, Dazzle Ridgely. Number 40, Otis Bunning. Number 44, Joe Jackman. And number 50, Jeff Gordon. The assistant coaches for the Trojans of Iowa City West, Mike Bevilacqua, Pat McCool, Jeff McMillan, David Lau, and Chris Thorson. And now for your starting lineups. At a forward for Waterloo East, number 44, a 6'2" junior, is Steve Schauf. For Iowa City West, number 42 is a 6'5" sophomore, Kevin Long. Number 5 is a 6'1" senior, James Horton. And for Iowa City, number 20, a 6'2" senior, Ryan Baumgart. At the center slots for Waterloo East, 00, a 6'2" sophomore, B.J. Mosley. And for Iowa City West, number 54, a 6'7" sophomore, Glenn Worley. At the guards, number 23, a 5'10" junior, D. Walliken. Number 24, a 6' senior, Chris Hackbarth. And the other guards, number 4, a 5'9" senior, Bobby Thomas. And number 22, a 5'10" junior, Bruce Davis. The head coach for the Waterloo East Trojans is Steve McGraw. For the Iowa City West Trojans, Steve Bergman. Our officials for the ball game: the referee is Mike Weber of Burlington. The umpire, Paul Keitel of DeWitt. The bench official, Robert Oldest of Iowa City. Let her rip.
East Waterloo with their 17th appearance in the state tournament. They won championships in 1974 and 1990. Of those 17 appearances, 8 under their current head coach, Steve McGraw. And for Iowa City West, this their 5th state appearance and their 4th year in a row coming to state. Last year they lost in the first round to Urbandale. They were the runner-up in 1996 to Mason City, and they won it all here in '77.
Now, Coach Bergman does a great job. His teams are always so physical and ready to play. He's just done a great job there at West.
Ryan Baumgart, MVP in the Mississippi division of the Mississippi Valley Conference. He's somebody they will definitely rely on for Iowa City West. And for East, again, there's the sophomore we're talking about, B.J. Mosley. Not moved up to the varsity until the final week of the regular season, but Steve McGraw likes the toughness that he brings that ball club. Glenn Worley, number 54, stands at a 6'7". He jumps center for West. Jumping for East, D. Wallacan was only 5'10", but quite a leaper. And it is Bobby Thomas with the opening tap, and here comes East Waterloo. Won't refer to their team's nickname very much because they're both called the Trojans, and of course they're both from the same league. They met once in the regular season. The rejection by Worley.
Well, he's the big guy out there. He could certainly make his presence felt, and he did it right off the bat.
This is Baumgart, number 20. 22 is Davis. Couple of real good guards. Worley against the double team, spins and scores.
Nice turnaround jump shot by Worley.
West with the first points in the ball game. Bobby Thomas, an all-conference guard for Waterloo East. Davis picks him up. Wallacan doesn't get the roll, and the ball belongs to East.
Penetration again. That's just what East likes to do, is spread the floor, get into the lane, draw a little defense to them.
Steve Bergman and his staff you looked at on the Iowa City West bench. Horton with the ball, trying to break down Baumgart. This is Steve Schaaf. Off the pick by Mosley. Game even at 2. Baumgart along the back line. Really a 3-guard offense for West. Number 24 Hackbarth also on the perimeter. So they have 3 perimeter players in Davis and Baumgart and Hackbarth. Baumgart on the penetration. Count the bucket.
Nice move inside against a 2-3 zone. I think East is probably trying to keep Worley from getting the ball inside, and usually you stop penetration with the zone, but that time the zone broke down and the penetration was given to Baumgart, and he makes a basket and gets a free throw.
Thomas on the foul, and Baumgart gets the roll. Baumgart comes in averaging a dozen points a ball game, got 8 the other day against Urbandale, but he really was a factor on the defensive end. He held the Jayhawks' Josh Witt, who averages 14 points a game, scoreless.
And these teams are not strangers to each other either. This isn't some team from far away playing some other team from far away. They know each other pretty well. They know how they play. I don't think there's going to be any surprises.
Now, we saw this the other night. This is something that Steve McGraw likes to do when the opponent plays his own.
Exactly, trying to draw them out and open up those driving lanes, and it worked the other night. We'll see what happens today.
Now, there's no lack of action rule if you're behind, in case you're wondering about that. Of course, right now, that is not the situation, but the other night, the opponent was behind, and East was able to just hold on to the ball for a while.
You know, sometimes being behind and holding on to the ball is as good as a timeout, because you can kind of get your team settled down and maybe get the team that's leading a little antsy and make a defensive mistake and a foul.
Schaaf trying to do something against Worley. Open is Horton. A 3 by James Horton. He led the Trojans during the regular season, the Waterloo Trojans, when he had 23 threes.
You know, and that's what they were able to do the other night against Sioux City West. When the defense did break down and they threw it out, they made the shots.
Baumgart answers with a 3 for Iowa City West.
Well, he's a nice-looking player. Strong, good shooter, makes good decisions.
Schaaf handles it out front. Worley guarding him. This is Bobby Thomas, and Davis comes out to check him. Horton works against Baumgart.
Take time off the clock, shorten the game, shorten the number of possessions, penetrate.
Tried to dump it to Schaaf, and getting in the way was Baumgart. Waterloo East canning a 3-pointer a moment ago off the fingertips of James Horton.
Nice penetration by Bobby Thomas, finds the open man. It'd be so important that they make their outside shots. They're not going to get a lot of inside stuff with Worley in there on defense.
Baumgart against Horton. Horton's got a tough assignment because Baumgart will stay all over you. This is Schaaf, leaving it short, and the rebound taken by Kevin Long.
Normally, Schaaf will have a big guy on him, and he's quicker than him, but tonight he has a big guy on him who's just as quick or maybe even quicker in Worley.
West with the ball and a three-point lead. Worley has it tapped away, and coming up with it is Horton.
Good hands by Schaaf that time.
Des Moines Hoover is already advanced. The winner of this ball game plays them tomorrow night for the 4A championship. Schaaf against Worley. Now the skip pass to Thomas.
So far, West is 3 for 3 from the field. We've seen some hot shooting teams today.
Boy, we have.
This is how East wants to play, though. They're very comfortable in this game style. They had tremendous upset the other night. They have great confidence that this works. They believe it. And that's important when you're controlling tempo, that you believe it's going to work.
The penetration by Jones, and a blocking foul is called, and the ball goes into the hoop. It hung on the rim, and it dropped.
What
the
a
officials
shot.
confer to see if it will count, and it will.
What a drive here by Thomas over the big guy and draws the foul on Worley also.
Foul against Worley, the first foul called in the ball game.
What? It's coming to me.
Tough shot. Great.
Derek.
What shot?
Excuse me, Jim.
Great body control on that shot by Jones.
Derek Salas, number 15, has come in for East. He's taken the place of D. Wallakan. And now Steve Bergman.
We talked about tradition at East. You know, Rodney Wallakan played at East some years ago, was a all-state performer not only in basketball but academics. That's that tradition.
Bergman countering with Joe Jackman, number 44. Worley scraps for the rebound and comes up with it. A one-point lead for West. The steal by East and a foul called after the ball was taken away by James Horton. So now East with a chance to take a lead for the first time in this one. And it'll have to wait until after a timeout with 3:03 to go in the first. We'll be back at Veterans Auditorium in just a moment. A one-point lead for Iowa City West, but Waterloo East has the basketball as we return to Veterans Auditorium. Larry Morgan, Jim Hallahan, and Tim Seaman with you on this semifinal afternoon of the Boys State Basketball Tournament.
No turnovers for Waterloo East, but that's important in the style of play, too. There's not a lot of possessions. You got to get a shot every time down. And just as I say that, it looks like a possible turnover. First one of the game, though.
Thomas with the loss of the handle. James Linden, number 33, is coming to the ball game for Waterloo East.
You know, Iowa City West has had a great year defensively, too. They've held their opponents to 45 points a game while averaging 58. And that's outstanding defense. We'll see if their defense can be effective against Waterloo East spread offense.
As Ryan Kopstick, number 14, he averages 13 coming in off the bench. Really provides a spark. Worley in deep against the double team, whirls and does not get the score. Jackman fighting for the rebound. Trying to save it, Kopstick. And a foul spotted. And it will go against East. With a foul, Derek Salas.
Salas made some big shots the other night in their game. Boy, he had some big baskets for him.
He's a guy who had been starting, but he provides such a spark off the bench that Steve McGraw asked him to take that role. He wasn't necessarily thrilled to not start, but he has done it. Baumgart has got 7 in the first half for Iowa City West.
And a good rotation down that time by Baumgart on the backside on the penetration. Tried to make the cross-court pass, and he was able to break it up.
In for East Waterloo is D. Wallakan, the starter. Where's number 23? Bruce Davis, meanwhile, checks out for Iowa City West. Daisel Ridgely has come into the lineup for the West Trojans. Trying to save Wallakan, and he can't do it, and the ball goes over to Iowa City West.
Great hustle on both teams' part right there. Got on the floor twice just couldn't get a hold of the ball.
Saw Steve Bergman on the bench for Iowa City West. His grandma, Helen Collins, has been under the weather lately, age 83. Back home in Grundy Center, couldn't make it today, and Coach wanted to make sure that we said hello to his grandma, Helen Collins. And the ball goes to Waterloo East.
Another pretty good Bergman coached down the road this year at Apples and Parks. No, that was big, undefeated. Undefeated coming into the tournament, had retired from coaching. Bud Bergman did a great job at Appleton.
He is the uncle, of course, of Steve Bergman. Yeah, what a great career he had. 7 state tournament trips with Waverly Shell Rock, and then, as you mentioned, this year coming out of retirement and doing the same with Applington Parkersburg. Wallacan tries to create something, and Worley has the rebound. And on his arm is Shaw.
East is quick on defense, so they're quick with their hands, too. And I think that's going to be a key for West. They can't continue to turn the ball over. They've got to get good shots every time, have a chance for some offensive rebounds, and reduce the turnovers.
B.J. Mosley back on for East, and leaving with his first foul, Steve Shaw. West current 4-point lead, their biggest of the game. It has been tight, and they try to pad it right here.
Zone defense by East. With their quickness, they can cover a lot of territory. You don't see a lot of people open out there. Just see a lot of movement on the East team.
Good look inside, but a travel called against Joe Jackman, and the ball goes back to East Waterloo.
Another turnover. That's 5.
1:04 left in the first. Waterloo East down by 4. Derek Salas, honorable mention all-conference, though he's not a starter. Number 15 handling the ball there for East. Here is Horton on the penetration. Nice drive, but doesn't get the finish, and Worley has a number of rebounds in this first quarter.
He's strong on those boards. That's a good lesson for kids. When you're driving there, you got to use that bank board. Boy, you try to finesse it in on that rim, and it rolls out too many times.
Worley averaging 9 rebounds a game, pacing West in that category. They've got the ball in a lead of 4.
You got D. Wallacan in there guarding Worley right now. I think Worley wants the ball.
Wallacan is 5'10". Worley is only 6'7", so only about an 8 or 9 inch difference in height. Playing for the last shot, West. Kopstick will take it. Won't get it. Coming out is Winter, and his long shot is nowhere close. That's the end of the first quarter with the score. Iowa City West 11 and Waterloo East 7. We'll be back at Veterans Auditorium in just a moment. The excitement is always high here at the tournaments, and it's the fans who make much of that excitement. Let's go to Tim Seaman for a Fairways Fan in the Stand.
Hey, guys, I found myself a new friend. Abby Richardson's with us. Abby, here's a T-shirt for being our fan in the stands. You know, you've knocked off Sioux City West. What's the magic here? You got to try to keep it going against Iowa City.
We just got to keep our crowd motivated, try to keep our team focused, you know, so we can win this.
Give us a little example here. What's the best? Give us a little cheer here.
When we say East, you say Trojans. East Trojans.
East Chargers, guys. Back up to you.
They met in the regular season. Iowa City West came away with a 63-55 victory. Here after one, West with the lead at 11-7. Kolstick trying to break down Horton, but Kolstick, who is an outstanding offensive player, hasn't had a shot yet.
When West gets shots, they make them, but with 5 turnovers, that's 5 possessions. They haven't got shots on. They're shooting the ball extremely well.
Now Kopstick gets that first shot of the game off the front of the iron and into the hands of Steve Schaaf for Waterloo East.
A lot of sneakers squeaking down there when these two teams play. A lot of cuts.
Horton leaving it short. East just 3 out of 10 to start the ball game, Jim.
Yeah, and that time their possession was just a little quick on the normal shot.
Dazel Ridgely came up with the loose basketball. And on the foul for Waterloo East, D. Wallacan. That is his first, and it is East 4th. Bruce Davis comes back on for Iowa City West. Talented guard. All-conference running back in football. This is Ryan Baumgart. The defenses have dominated thus far, Jim.
Yeah, East now switched to man-to-man defense and another turnover.
Wallakan doesn't get the roll. Schaff gets the rebound, and he gets shoved.
He plays big
on the
for
foul.
6'2", doesn't he?
Yes, he does.
Schaff does. He's
yeah, you know,
strong.
you look down and you don't believe he's only 6'2".
Got long arms, and he's got a thick, wide body, and that creates space. So when you're trying to rebound, you need space. And that's what he gets in there. So all of a sudden, he gets the rebound. You think, how'd that little guy get the rebound at 6'2" with a guy 6'6"? He creates space with his depth.
James Linda, who hit the 2 free throws that pushed East over the top in their upset of Sioux City West, number 33 into the lineup now for Steve McGraw's 5.
Those were huge free throws, weren't they?
Oh, man.
Great pressure.
Schaff with 3, and it's an 11-8 ball game in favor of the team with the basketball, Iowa City West. Champs of the Mississippi Valleys, Mississippi Division with a 15-1 conference record. The putback goes. Otis Bunning on the putback.
Nice, strong, two-handed putback. Some kids go up and try to tip it with one hand and get bumped, they miss it. He went up with 2, got bumped a little bit, was still able to convert the tip in.
In deep for East is Linda. The rebound is taken down by Long, and Long gets held. Schaff on the foul, and that is his second. Steve McGraw not liking to see his player pick up 2 fouls with still 6:13 to go in the second quarter.
Defense kind of disappeared on that baseline drive. I think 2 guys thought the other guy was going to take him, and no one did.
So Schaff to the bench to sit next to Steve McGraw with his second foul. And Baumgart, who scored 9 in the first quarter, brings it up for Iowa City West.
Iowa City mixing their defenses up now. They're back in that 3-2, 1-2-2 zone. And that can be disruptive for a team trying to figure out what the other team's doing defensively.
Wiley travels.
And that's what
Worley
happens.
travels. Yes, he does.
Well, that's about 8 turnovers now in West.
Offenses are stagnant. Defenses have dominated thus far at the 5:53 mark in the second quarter. Just 21 points on the board.
We talk a lot about East defense. West is very strong on defense, too. There's an excellent defensive play that time by Baumgart.
Yeah, they really are. The West defense gave opponents only 41% of their field goals this year. Gave up 45 points a game.
That's not many points.
Not at all. 41% off opponent shooting. That's outstanding. Good look on the baseline, but unable to finish is Linda after Bobby Thomas got him the shot. The reach-in called against Waterloo East, D. Wallakan, his second. Changes for both ball clubs. Salas comes in for East, and coming back on for West is Joe Jackman.
And Coach McGraw is looking for somebody to rise up and make a shot for him. They're playing awful good defense. They only have 9 points. They got to get a few more baskets here in this half.
They're averaging 70 points a game, shooting 46% from the floor on the season. On the other hand, West averages 59 points a game, shoot 47%. Davis looks in for Worley. Worley, unable to finish, gets his own rebound. Now, Glenn Worley is only a sophomore. A lot of people think if he works hard, if he stays after it, he's going to be a Division I prospect before all is said and done. It's a good body, certainly, no question there.
He made a great move, and he just made a great spin move, but didn't use that glass on the board, and the ball spun off the rim.
The takeaway from behind by Salas. Here comes East.
Now, you got a guy 6'7". You're going to throw it into the post, and you're playing against a team with all 5'10" guys. Don't bounce it in there low. Get it up to him high.
22nd timeout taken by Waterloo East with 4:26 to go in the second period. 13-8. Iowa City West has had the lead all the way. Game tied up once. That was at 2. They have led by as many as, in fact, you look at their margin now, this is their biggest lead at 5.
Well, East has missed 7 straight shots now, and they just need to settle down. They're doing a great job on defense. Both teams are, and isn't it funny how when a game like this goes on, both teams are playing defense, neither team's shooting or turning over too much, and you think one team could be 20 points up if they were just relaxed and make some baskets, but here it is 13-8.
9 turnovers by West, so they're not able to take advantage of the cold spell by East, and as you mentioned, they have missed their last 8 shots. Thomas all the way, doesn't get the roll, and Worley has the rebound.
It turns it over.
Horton with the takeaway. Thomas gets it down. They've missed 9 in a row, but East scores there. Imagine this, Jim. They missed 9 in a row and yet are only down by 3.
Yeah, they made a comeback. They decreased the lead by 2.
So neither coach happy with his offense, both happy with their defense. Good look from Baumgarten to Worley.
Much better that time. He caught the ball chest high, turned, never dropped the ball. Nice shot inside by Worley.
Thomas against Davis. Mosley comes out to set the pick. And 5-second violation, I believe, was the call.
Yes.
And so the turnover puts it in the hands of the Iowa City West Trojans under the direction of that man, Steve Bergman. And there's Steve McGraw on the bench for East Waterloo. So both teams named the Trojans, both teams with a head basketball coach by the name of Steve. And both teams are completing outstanding years. Worley with the score. He's got 6 points.
And he's the key in this game because East is so quick on the perimeter, it's very difficult to penetrate against the zone without turning it over, which Iowa City West has been doing. But if they can throw the ball inside, get it up high to Worley, then he's going to make a lot of baskets. He's a fine shooter with a good touch.
Horton in the corner.
Good defensive pressure that time by Iowa City West.
Linda comes back on for East, and coming back on for West is Ryan Copestick, and we've got a timeout with 2:56 to go in the half. We'll be back at Veterans Auditorium in just a moment. A banner year for the Mississippi Valley Conference. These two teams from that conference, and also Cedar Rapids Prairie, and they'll play tomorrow night for the 3A championship.
Tells you a little bit about the competition in that league. Great year for the league.
Copestick and Baumgarten with a little two-man game, and it's completed by Baumgarten, and Baumgarten now with 11.
Nice strong move inside. He was able to penetrate that time without turning it over. Kept the ball low on the dribble, used the glass inside.
And that bucket ends a 6-point run for Iowa City West. The takeaway by Horton. He finishes. 5 for James Horton, and it's a 5-point lead for West.
Off another turnover.
Points off turnover is really going to be a key statistic in this particular game. At least the way this game is developing so far.
Yeah, that's 11 turnovers. That's about as many as you want in a game most of the time.
Baumgarten gets the open look, nails a 3. Baumgart's third 3, his 14th point, the MVP of the Mississippi Valley Conference, the Mississippi Division.
Boy, he has been outstanding offensively shooting the basketball. Effortless on that three-pointer, too. Looks like he could back up another step or two and shoot it in there.
The turnover, the 5-second call going against Salas, and the ball goes over to Iowa City West. Again, Baumgart comes down and nails his third 3 of this game.
Well, he's keeping them in there offensively right now. He and Worley are doing a nice job.
Basil Ridgely goes over, communicates with Steve Bergman. And now Iowa City West brings it up, ahead by 8. Waning moment, second period. Inside and outside, Baumgart and Worley, that's been the offense so far for West. And Worley will have to earn these at the free throw line. Glenn Worley really concerned the Iowa City West players and fans, which we will tell you about after we look at this play. He came down with food poisoning on Tuesday night, spent 4 hours at an Iowa City hospital before the West team made the trip to Des Moines, and there was some grave concern about whether he'd be able to play the quarterfinals.
Why do those things always seem to happen at tournament time? Same thing you hear in the NCAA tournament. Guys get food poisoning or whatever.
Worley not only able to play against Urbandale, but had a 7.6 rebound effort.
Well, they went right to him that time. Substitute came in, number 40, Milky, and they went right at him.
A 9-point lead for West, and Waterloo East on the attack.
Waterloo East playing good defense. They're making West turn the ball over, but they're just shooting a low percentage right now, which is putting them in the hole a little bit.
DeMarcus Winter, number 10, has come on. Thomas trying to fire a pass to Nate Milky, and he can't hang on. And so, with less than a minute to go in the second period, Iowa City West with a chance to take their biggest lead.
Now all of a sudden, East is turning the ball over. They've turned it over 7 times now. They cannot afford to do that. They got to make every possession count.
Baumgart with 14 points. He's the man with the ball. Let's see if they want to close the quarter with the ball in his hands. Kolstick, the other offensive threat, he's number 14, and he's been silenced so far.
Well, and can they hold the ball for 44 seconds against East defense, too? That's not going to be easy. It's not going to just be hold it and wait. East is putting good pressure on him. Mosley's doing a good job inside on Worley, fronting him in there on defense.
And now they move into action in the final 10 seconds of the period with Jim Hallahan, Larry Morgan at Betts Auditorium. Waning moments, second period, foul called away from the ball. And that will give Waterloo East a chance.
Well, they couldn't do it. They couldn't hold the ball against a good defensive pressure.
Kevin Long commits the foul. First game this afternoon, Hoover over Bettendorf, 71-37. That puts the top-ranked Huskies in the championship game.
4.3 seconds to go is plenty of time to get a good shot. This would really be important for East. They can make a basket right here at the end of the half and get them some momentum going into the locker room.
Otis Bunning has come in to defend the inbounds pass.
Tough now when you have to throw it all the way to the baseline.
Wallacan will get a look, and he will leave it short.
Pretty good shot.
That's the end of the first half with Iowa City West leading Waterloo East 23-14. We'll be back at Veterans Auditorium in just a moment. Brian Baumgart and Glenn Worley have combined for 21 of Iowa City's West 23 first half points. That's the margin by which they lead Waterloo East 23-14.
Well, Ryan Baumgart's had a great first half, and you know he has shot 120 free throws this year, so look for him to get more penetration, get on the free throw line in the second half in addition to making the three-point shot.
He's had a great career at West, and with him as a starter, Iowa City West has won 41 and has lost 3. We'll be back in a moment after this pause for station identification. We're at halftime at Veterans Auditorium, 23-14. Iowa City West leading Waterloo East. Larry Morgan and Jim Hallahan with you, and take a look at this ball game. An interesting note, a sideline. Larry Hessing at Pella Christian mentioned that they went to class today. Iowa City West didn't have that option. Their students are on spring break, so you really got to credit those who did come here today, because a lot of them is spread out all over the country. A little hard to get a following here at Vets.
Yeah, and probably that's part of the reason the crowd's not quite as large as it normally would be if it were in the evening or if the teams were on spring break. But I'll tell you what, you talk about kids being focused. They could be coming from Alaska, and if they're playing in the state tournament, they're going to be fired up and focused. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for a lot of kids. If you're fortunate enough to come back again, it only makes it that much more important.
West with a 9-point lead. We take a look at the first half statistics. You're going to see that West really did everything well except take care of the basketball.
Yeah, the total score doesn't surprise me. It's just that East has had a difficult time scoring and West has had a difficult time holding on to the ball, but it's a low score, much like we thought it might be.
Now, the low percentage by East, how much of that is West defense?
Well, I don't think there's any question about that. When you look at West all throughout the year, they have played great defense. East is penetrating, but they're not getting the easy shots. They're being challenged on their penetration shots, which makes those more difficult.
As you look at East trying to come back, something that I have in mind is the fact that when they upset Sioux City West, they hit 6 baskets from behind the three-point line. They've got that ability. Obviously, they're going to need some of that to mount a comeback.
Well, they are, but they're going to have to be open, and they get open by having penetration and pitching. And so far, the penetration has been so crowded in there, the guy penetrating has chosen to shoot the ball more than they have to toss the ball outside.
Whoever wins this one has the challenge of taking on Des Moines Hoover. The Huskies with a 71-37 victory over Bettendorf earlier this afternoon. We'll be back with the start of the second half in just a moment. The Trojans from East and the Trojans from West have returned to the court. As we mentioned, they met once during the regular season, but that was, in terms of basketball, an eternity ago, because it was back before Christmas. And in that ball game, West prevailed 63-55 for West. Their only loss this year to Cedar Rapids Prairie, that by 2 points. And of course, Cedar Rapids Prairie with a chance tomorrow night to win a state title.
Well, it's interesting. This game has some strange statistics to it. As poorly as East is shooting, they have 9 steals to their credit to only 1 steal for West. And even though that West is shooting very well, 64%, and out rebounding East, they've had a difficult time holding on to the basketball. So, you know, what's going to happen here? Is one team going to be able to regain their composure and improve on their weakness right now? Whichever team can do that is going to take control of this game.
Let's take a look at first half highlights. And first of all, for Waterloo East, when they did score, it was often because of Bobby Thomas.
Nice little pick and roll and a very difficult shot here off of penetration. That wasn't an easy basket, but those kids are very athletic, have the ability to hang in the air and get back under control.
Thomas, the leading scorer for East at the half with 6. On the other end, Glenn Worley had a big first half.
Well, Worley at any time can be dominant in a game. Even though he's only a sophomore, he has great quickness and jumping ability, good hands, and good offensive moves around the basket.
He had 7 points and also 6 rebounds. Here comes Bobby Thomas, or rather, Bobby Thomas one more time.
An unbelievable shot. Really, you would have thought the ball would have never got to the basket because there was contact made, but he was able to go off of 2 feet, keep the ball in 2 hands, and deliver it into the basket.
And how about Ryan Baumgart's first half?
Just outstanding. He has risen his game to the level it takes to get to the state finals. He can do that in the second half. East is in trouble.
He did not miss a shot. Baumgart 5 of 5 overall from behind the arc. He was 3 out of 3. Looking at him right there, the MVP of the Mississippi Valley Conference, at least the Mississippi Division, Ryan Baumgart, 41-3 as a starter at West. And of course, he'd like to finish up about 43-3.
Well, I think that's a tremendous attribute to a kid when you win. When your record is 41-3, that just means that you're doing all the things that makes your team better, not just individually, but for your team too.
Steve McGraw gathers his squad around. He called this a special group of kids. He said, they work hard, they compete, and he said, you don't find this with every team you coach. They are willing to listen.
That's right. Listen and do what the coach tells you to do. When everybody pulls together, it's amazing what wonderful things can happen.
You know, McGraw's actual quote was, he said, they're willing to listen to a guy with white hair.
I wasn't going to bring that up, Larry.
This guy knows a lot about basketball. He's had great success in his 28-year career. Has won more than 400 ball games.
Well, as always, the first couple minutes of the second half usually set the tempo. Let's see if West can stop turning over and if East can make a few baskets and loosen up on offense.
It's in the hands of Bobby Thomas to get things started. Number 5 is Horton. Number 00 is Mosley. Number 44 is Shaw. And number 23 is Wallacan. So the starters are back out there for Waterloo East. And the kick will give it to East one more time with 7:45 left in the third period.
Good defense by Worley that time, getting around his man Schaff and knocking the ball away. You know, the difference here is West is kind of a contained defense, kind of keep East under control, and East is more aggressive and creates more turnovers.
Schaff turns on Worley, and Worley comes back to block it.
Twice.
Unbelievable. Glenn Worley, couple of big blocks. He is only 6'7", probably still growing. Had a block in the first half, so now 3 in the game. Almost a steal by Baumgart. And now that is a steal by Baumgart. And as he comes the other way, he is fouled.
How many times do you see a mistake and then try to make up for the mistake and it's a foul? That's what players have to understand. It's okay to make mistakes, just don't make 2 in a row.
Second foul called against Bobby Thomas.
Thomas makes the errant pass and then tries to come back and make up for it and gets the foul.
Wallacan picks up Baumgart. That's Davis. And the travel will give it back to East.
Another turnover. Good job by Wallacan jumping into the passing lane, forcing the turnover and the travel.
Steve Bergman holding his head in his hands. Again, if it weren't for the turnovers, his 9-point margin would be a bigger margin.
Game like this, though, 9-point lead is pretty big.
Good look inside to Schaff. Schaff races to the glass, and he is fouled from behind. Worley with his second foul.
Schaaf's a nice wide body, even though he's not nearly as tall as Worley. He does a good job of posting up. He's got big arms, holds the guy out pretty well, and then Worley, when he saw he got beat, he tried to make up, tried to block the shot, and got a foul on him.
McGraw really likes the toughness of Schaaf. Schaaf now with 4 points in the game, and he was a second-team all-conference performer this year, a junior, so he will return next year.
Well, also developed his game during the summer in the Iowa games. His team had great success in the Iowa games this summer.
You know, you went a little over a game before you gave us your first Iowa games plug, Jim. A little reserved today.
Well, that first game was so fast, you didn't have a chance to take a breath. With Newman going up and down the floor so fast.
Worley to inbound.
See, here's the other thing. East would like to press more, but to press you have to score. And they're not scoring. So they want to get into a full-court defensive situation, but they need to make some baskets. If that happens, some good things can happen for East.
Point well taken. West moving the ball well, not able to finish, though. And the foul called against Worley, and that will be his third.
Oh, boy, that's a tough play. He gets a really nice pass inside and pivots and just doesn't quite get the basket to go down and jumps over the back for the rebound. Third foul, that could be a big factor in this game.
Steve Bergman about to get him out of there. The baseline drive by Horton. Nice kick to an open guard, and the shot won't go by Thomas. Schaaf knocked to the floor, slow getting up and limping as he starts to get up. And at the other end, foul called against Wallakan.
They don't want him hurt.
Schaaf being attended to in the backcourt for Waterloo East. Wallakan with his third foul. So now each team has a player with 3, and we take a look at Schaaf.
Well, I think he may have sprained his ankle here. He's really walking gingerly on it right now.
And you're right, he'll afford to be out of that East lineup for long if they're going to mount a comeback.
Right, and usually a sprained ankle, if you can come about a minute or two, if it starts feeling better, you're going to be okay. If it goes longer than that, then you got a pretty bad sprain. Watching him walk to the locker room right now, he's still limping. They're going to probably retape it and try to get him back in the game and get it loose.
Worley with good touch for a big guy at 68% on the season. He has hit 2 out of 3 from the line and has 8 points.
Had he made that free throw, they were going to get him out to avoid picking up his 4th foul. Let's see if he can play here or see if East tries to take it to him.
Salas comes in for Schaaf, and Salas had the rebound. Eric Salas, number 15. The shot short by Horton. Worley with a good outlet to Ryan Copestick.
Nice pass, nice pass. He got that rebound, looked down the floor, saw the open man, the good, strong overhead 2-hand pass.
A 10-point lead for West. Good look inside to Mosley, but he can't finish, and Worley has yet another rebound. Offensive foul, and that's number 4.
There it was. He missed the free throw, couldn't get him out in time. Picked up his 4th foul, and a really tough play here now. $210-pounder went down pretty easy by that guy, didn't he?
You know, it's not always the big things. Sometimes the little things. Now, you pointed out, he misses a free throw, and the average fan thinks, well, you know, they'll get him out. Well, now they don't, and now you're right. It's very critical because he picks up foul number 4.
That's right. The only bad thing about it for East, so they have Schaaf out right now with an injury, so they really can't take advantage of it inside.
The push called against Joe Jackman.
And Mosley's out here now, too. So Milky's the big guy in there. Let's see if he can do something now. Coming in off the bench. Maybe he can give East a little lift here with Worley out of the game.
James Linda, the game-winning free throws on Wednesday against Sioux City West, and that was his first opportunity in this one. He had a great ball game against West. 9 points, 5 rebounds, and we mentioned those 2 pressurized free throws in the final half minute. That's why East is playing this afternoon.
They all had great games, hadn't they? That was just a super effort to upset an outstanding basketball team, Sioux City West.
But Sioux City West got to the title game last year.
And what a game that was.
Oh, man. That's when they will, a game for the ages, I think. As Oliver got 38, Galloway got 38. Mason City won the title last year in 4A. With the foul, Derek Salas. Salas with his 2nd foul. 14 fouls against West and 3 against East here in the second half of play. Baumgart has it blocked from behind.
Milky, nice job on defense.
Nice shot by Thomas, and maybe that will ignite the Trojans. That for East, their first basket of the second half.
Worley goes out, and you see a little more lift in the jump there.
So suddenly a 10-point lead down to 7, and East within striking distance of West, though East has never led in this game.
Boy, they swarm you inside, don't they?
They do.
Put that ball on the floor, you're going to pay a price.
Horton with the takeaway. Horton with the shot at the other end, and a big bucket.
Huge basket by James Horton. Downtown three-pointer, too.
And Easton, you knew there'd be a comeback charge sooner or later. And there it is right there. With Worley out of the lineup for West, East comes roaring back.
And with Schaff and Mosley out of the lineup for East.
On the baseline, it is Copestick who doesn't get the roll. Milky gets the rebound. Baumgart with the intercept on the pass from Thomas. And the ball will go to West.
Good hustle.
Steve McGraw going to make some changes. There'll be some new East players on the floor when play resumes. But first a timeout. We'll be back at Veterans Auditorium in just a moment. The biggest shot of the game so far might be this one off the hands of James Horton.
Whoa, that is back there on the other three-point line.
That's the IBA, NBA three-point line.
Little excitement now in the eyes of the East players here. They're back in the ball game. It's 26-22.
They were down by 10. Now they are within 4. Copestick, Baumgart, Bunning.
And if you're Steve Bergman, how long do you leave out Worley? Boy, you don't want him to pick up that 5th foul.
Ridgely and Jackman, they make up the 5 on the floor right now for West. With the foul, Bobby Thomas, his 3rd. Team fouls even at 4. There's Worley sitting on the bench now for Iowa City West with those 4 fouls.
I think Copestick's going to need to come alive a little bit here down the stretch and give him a little offensive lift.
He averages 13. He has 2 thus far. In a crowd, Jackman puts it up and in.
Oh, nice strong move by Jackman. They needed that basket.
Yeah, it was a big one. The 6'3", 185-pound junior getting it down. West leads back up to 6. The penetration by Wallacan. He's having a tough shooting game. And Jackman has the rebound. Ridgely gets it inside to Otis Bunning.
Saw him take his eyes off the basket and look around for the defense and missed a shot.
Ridgely off the baseline. Wallacan with the rebound. Wallacan on the drive. And it's too hard off the glass, and inside a holdout is spotted. And it will go against West.
Tough shot there by Wallacan. Went in and had to change hands to his left hand at the last minute, but was able to get back up quickly and draw the foul on the second shot.
Baumgart gets the foul. That's his 2nd. Salas back in for East. As Wallacan goes to the line. He's really a terrific passer. That's the thing that Steve McGraw really likes about him. They say he is sometimes unselfish to a fault. Today, he's having a tough shooting game, but he averages 10 points a ball game. Now, you're right. They need to get him to score, and he hasn't so far. Running with the rebound.
Exactly what he didn't need was to have one go halfway down the basket and come back out. That's frustrating when you're struggling.
2.5 to go in the 3rd period. Hoover has advanced. The winner of this team advances to meet them in tomorrow's 4A championship game. Jackman against the double team, throws it away. The interception by DeMarcus Winter.
East was really swarming on defense that time and just frustrated Jackman to the point he just threw it away.
Wallacan against Ridgely. Winter with a shot. And it is chased down by Joe Jackman.
Schaaf's back in the lineup now. Looks like he got that ankle in pretty good shape, not limping.
Foul called on Winter. 1:49 to go in the third. You look at the West High bench momentarily. They've got the lead at 28-22.
Ryan Bumgart's got half Iowa City West point. That's not the way it usually goes for Iowa City West. They've been very balanced. They've had good scoring, but he's got half their points right now.
Milkey and Horton back into the East lineup. A rare miss for Baumgart, who's a 72% free throw shooter.
If you notice, Larry, you look at these free throw shooting percentages, you're not seeing those 80, high 70s and 80%. These teams aren't shooting well from the free throw line.
Well, that's true. Here's Bruce Davis back on. One thing about West, they have terrific depth, and that's certainly helping them in this ball game, especially down the stretch. The shot by Winter won't go. The rebound taken down by Kopstick. Kopstick all the way, and it was last touched by East.
That looked more like a juggling act than a shot, didn't it?
Seven-point game. I think that makes this one a big possession here late in the third.
Well, in a game like this, each possession is so big because the score is so low that a 4 or 5 point swing can make a huge difference.
Bunning, Jackman, Ridgely on the floor along with Davis.
Now West is playing a little cat and mouse, a little cutting game to the basket, cut and clear out. See if they can convert this time.
Kopstick in deep, puts up a 5-footer, and the rebound is taken down by Schaaf.
They did everything they had to do,
there,
but they just couldn't get the shot down.
Horton trying to break down Davis. Here's Schaaf. Schaaf wheels and is fouled. Steve Schaaf will go to the line where he's a very good free throw shooter on the season at 74%.
Nice job by Schaaf going into the bigger guy, getting his body tied up. And I guarantee you if Worley comes back in, Schaaf's going to look for him to take that ball to him. He did a nice job on that, drew the foul.
Joe Jackman with his second foul. And Schaaf, who had hit 3 free throws in a row, misses for the second time in the game.
The amazing thing, Schaaf, here's a big, strong guy, and he shot 51 free throws, which is probably high for his team. But on the other team, Ryan Bumgarner has shot 120 free throws for the year.
That is amazing. East has really struggled at the free throw line in this one. They are going to look back upon that if they don't get the job done today. Horton doesn't get the layup, but does get a rebound. And it will belong to East one more time.
East doing a much better job on the boards this half, too. They clearly got out-rebounded in the second half, but this half they're really battling on the boards.
Baumgart back in. He's the game's top scorer with 15 points. And I have a feeling you're not going to see Ryan Baumgart on the bench much the rest of this one.
No, I don't think so.
Worley still out with 4 fouls for Iowa City West. Good look inside from Thomas to Linda.
Nice penetration.
It's a 5-point game. East really looking for a stop here for West. Baumgart. Now Kopstick at the buzzer. Not good, and so it's a 5-point ball game. That's the end of the third quarter. The score, Iowa City West 29, Waterloo East 24. We'll be back at Veterans Auditorium in just a moment. Final period begins. It's Iowa City West with the basketball and a 5-point lead over Waterloo East.
East doing a much better job on the boards this half. I think it's 13-11 on the boards, West in favor, but nothing like the first half when East was out-rebounded extremely badly.
Kopstick, Jackman, Davis on the floor, along with Baumgart and Long for Iowa City West. East has B.J. Mosley back in there. Also number 33 is Linda. 15 Salas, 5 Horton, 4 Thomas. And now they will make a change. And back into the lineup comes Steve Schaaf with a couple of fouls, and he will take the place of Linda.
Both teams in the bonus now. The free throws are going to be important in a low-scoring game like this. And they have not been making their free throws tremendously today.
Not at all. Jackman on the season, not a good free throw shooter though, 36%, and the rebound is taken down by Shaw. So East has not led in this ball game, Jim, but they keep fighting back. Off the baseline, big shot by Bobby Thomas.
Outstanding drive and body control. Tough shot. But that's the kind you got to make, though, going down the stretch.
We're a minute deep into the fourth quarter as it's banked home by Ryan Kopstick, his second bucket of the game.
They need Kopstick, like I said. They need him to rise up and make some baskets with Worley out of there. Someone besides Bumgart's got to score out there.
Just looking at East free throw shooting, Jim, 4 out of 12. Big save by Jackman, and here comes West up by 5. Baumgart down the lane, blocking foul called on East.
Boy, he's strong. He has a great first step, and yet even after a very quick first step, he gets under control and on balance again.
And Bobby Thomas with his 4th foul. So both teams have a key player now with 4 fouls.
With Mosley and Schaaf in there, it'll be interesting to see what East does this time down the floor with Worley back in the game. Bigard's one of those two big guys. I got to think they're going to try to go in there and take the ball to him.
Thomas, meanwhile, with his 4th foul, will go out momentarily. Derek Salas in to take his place as Baumgart hits the free throw to give him 16 points. And to give West a 6-point lead. Ryan Baumgart, 2 pressurized free throws to lift his team to a 33-26 lead.
There it goes inside to Schaaf.
Schaaf gets the roll.
Tough shot, little fadeaway jump hook.
First basket since the first quarter for Steve Schaaf. His club back within 5. Worley finds the open man long, but it's slapped away by Salas. Salas can't save, and Iowa City West will reload with 6:01 to go.
Good hustle by Salas, almost made the steal.
Salas, a player who normally would be starting, but provides such a spark off the bench. Steve McGraw likes to use him that way. Salas guarding Kopstick. Worley working against Mosley. Sophomore against sophomore. Worley to the lane, and he is pushed by Mosley.
Well, I tell you, that's scary to see the big guy take off down the lane full speed because you know he's not going to stop. Unfortunately, he got fouled before he may have charged.
The name Glenn Worley sounds familiar. His dad, same name, played at Iowa under Lute Olson. Milkey comes back in. Mosley will go out. Glenn Worley with 8 points this afternoon. 2 out of 4 from the stripe.
As hard as it is to get these baskets, these free throws are just so important now. You just have to make them if you're Iowa City West to maintain that lead.
Horton back in for East. For West at a 5 of 10 free throw shooting. Schaaf with the rebound, a 6-point deficit for East as they come up the court. Horton trying to break down Davis. The shot by Schaaf. The rebound by Worley. Good outlet. Here's Baumgart coming down 2 against 1, and he is fouled, and Baumgart crashes to the floor. He will go to the line.
Missed the open man. Had a chance for an easy basket there, and he didn't get the ball to the open man.
He had Long in front of him.
Another good outlet by Worley. Can't really see it there, but 42 long was open. You got to get the ball to the open man.
For Steve Schaaf, his third foul, and Ryan Baumgart goes to the line in quest of his 18th point. Baumgart with 6 steals the other day in the quarterfinal victory over Urbandale. Baumgart, normally a good free throw shooter. In this game, he is 4 out of 6. 18 for Baumgart, West by 7. Still plenty of time for East to mount a comeback. Worley with another rebound. Got to be 11 or 12 in the rebounds, doesn't he, Jim?
Well, yeah, and you know, when you take a quick shot like that, it's so difficult to get an offensive rebound because all the defensive players are in their position with only one pass taken or no passes. Got to be a little more patient if you have a chance for an offensive rebound.
Long, and the pass a little behind him. Wallakan on the move for East, and he will earn them at the line. Copestick with his first foul. Steve Bergman on his West High bench. A frustrating day for the junior, D. Wallakan. That's his first point of this ball game.
He kind of had to dive that one in. That was a body English one to get that one to go down.
And he's hoping that will break the ice. B.J. Mosley, number 00, the sophomore, back on for East. Wallakan gets the bounce. It's a 5-point lead for West with 4:29 to play, and we've got a timeout. We'll be back at Veterans Auditorium in just a moment. Final at Veterans Auditorium. West leading East 35-30. The winner moves on against top-rated and unbeaten Hoover for the 4A championship. Copestick with the miss, and the foul will be called on Baumgart. They'll correct that. Yeah, they are going to call it on Baumgart. Baumgart didn't have position. He tried to climb the back. He picked up his third foul.
Last 2 shots for Copestick, just a little short. You know, when you're struggling a little bit, sometimes you just need to relax and let it flow and follow through on that shot. You get to trying to guide it, even on a short 5-footer. You just got to let her go.
James Lind at the line, where East has had major problems. They are 6 of 14.
Well, this is the guy that can make free throws because he made the big ones in the game against Sioux City West. So if he can keep getting fouled, he's the guy who can make the free throws.
Winter replaces Thomas at the point. And Linda knocks down a couple under pressure to pull East within 3. Closest they've been in a long, long time. They were there briefly in the first minute of the fourth quarter. For the most part, though, they've been behind by a 5 to 7 point margin. So this is a big offensive possession for Iowa City.
Well, you're not kidding. Linda's had some big free throws. Those were big free throws to close the gap to a 1-possession ball game.
Worley calls for it, gets it, and gets the bounce.
And got the roll and the bounce and everything else. That was a good basket for him.
Winter against Davis. Horton off the dribble. And another rebound for Glenn Worley.
Nice rebound because he went after that one. That one didn't come to him. He had to pursue the ball across the lane. That was a very, very good rebound.
Otis Bunting, number 40, in the lineup now for Iowa City West. He was a second-team all-conference player coming off the bench for West.
Foul on Mosley against Worley. Give him a little push in there. He's done a nice job for a sophomore, though.
He really has. You can see a lot of upside with him.
Boy, he's a good athlete. He's strong. He's quick. He has good balance. And is a tough kid. He's not afraid to stick his nose in there and battle these guys that are older than him by a year or two.
Bobby Thomas back on. DeMarcus Winter goes to the bench. Worley to the free throw line for 2. Both teams no better than 50% at the foul line.
And it seems like when you're missing free throws, you can't find anyone to make them. If you're making them, everybody makes them.
6-point lead for West. Thomas. Worley with the rebound.
Got the numbers, and they're going to slow it up here, it looks like.
We hit the 3-minute mark. Remember to join us again tonight. A couple of champions will be crowned. In 1A, it's Iowa Mennonite against Rock Valley. 2A, Iowa Falls, rated number 1 in the state against Pella Christian. Butting off the baseline. Schock with the rebound.
No one in there on that offensive rebound when he took the shot. One white shirt's all they had in there.
Horton trying to make something happen offensively, and he will try to do it at the free throw line with Baumgart picking up his 4th foul.
We're going to have to redefine the term free throw after this game.
It's not so easy today,
Not
is
so
it?
easy today.
Like they're charging for him.
Is the ref guarding him on the line or what?
Steve McGraw is thinking, boy, I wish we had a couple of those at the line go down. Mosley back in as Horton, a 68% free throw shooter on the season, makes his first appearance at the line in this game. Horton had to battle through an injury this year, suffered a broken nose earlier in the season. Horton comes the West lead to 4 at 38-34 with 2.5 to play. And there is a break in the action. We'll be back at Bettman's Auditorium in just a moment. With Jim Hallahan and Tim Seaman, Larry Morgan at Bettman's Auditorium. We'll look at Steve Bergman. His team has had the lead all the way, but it's been a tenuous lead.
Oh, it sure has. 2 minutes and 32 seconds to get left. It's like a mini 4th quarter. It's anybody's basketball game here. There's a lot of action left.
Baumgart plays with 4 fouls. He brings it ahead for West, brings it all the way, and scores. 20 points for the senior guard. Big basket right there.
Yeah, he's a 2-footed player. He goes in there in the lane, stays under control, gets his balance, rises up with strength, and made a very good basket.
Good feed for Mosley. We reach the 2:04 mark. The tempo begins to pick up.
And it gets close to the end of the game. Something's going to break here in a second.
Worley ran out of time.
I think they might have got a timeout.
He asked for the timeout. I guess he did get the timeout.
Well, I saw that hand go up, and I thought the same thing you did. It was 5 seconds.
The officials looked back and forth at each other, and they ruled, yes, he did make the call in time. So, and maybe with a split second to go.
A half a second.
Maybe less.
Maybe less.
But a big timeout used there by Iowa City West to try to work on the inbounds. You got to give East credit. They really had the play covered.
Some of the toughest things are getting the ball in on the inbounds play where you can't move or it's a travel. You got 5 guys on defense, 4 guys on offense to get open. It can be very difficult to get the ball inbounded.
Worley, Bunning, Baumgart, Davis, and Kopstick on the floor for West as they try to inbounds. West with a 4-point lead. This time they do get the ball inbounds. And this will enable them to run the clock inside the 2-minute mark.
Good movement by West offensively.
They'll be patient. They want a very good shot. Worley out of his range, not likely to take that one, but he will put it on the floor and go to the hole.
Woo, one big step, one dribble, got him to the basket from the wing. That was a nice play by Worley.
In a game where baskets have been hard to come by, it's a 6-point lead for West. Wallakan. Rebound by Linda. And Linda is fouled by Bunning.
It's almost been a good play to foul because the other team hasn't gotten 2 points out of it. Now you have a pretty good shooter up there to make these free throws, and they need him right now.
Funny thing about West is East, they've been doing a very poor job at the line. They have now hit their last 6.
And I'm not sure Linda's not the one that started that by making 2 in a row.
And again, he won the ball game on Wednesday with free throws. He has hit them down the stretch in this one. Horton is back in for East. Salas is out. East within 4 if Linda hits this one.
Got him.
East has not led in this game. In this half, West is led by as many as 10.
Worley was able to get the ball in bounds that time because he could run the baseline and get away from the defensive player.
Time definitely an asset of the team with the basketball, the Iowa City West Trojans.
Under a minute to go. Really don't even need to shoot the ball. They can hold on to it and control it.
With the foul, Winter.
Well,
now
we've talked about it. We've talked about missing free throws. Now it's a time. With 51 seconds to go, you have to make those free throws.
I was just going to say, if West makes the free throws, they're in the championship game.
Right.
By the way, Glenn Worley, 14 points. We've just been given his rebound total. It's a dozen.
Yeah, he's done a great job on the boards, and they missed him when he was out of there for a while, too.
Yeah, great numbers considering he must have sat out, the better part of 5 minutes with those 4 fouls. The lead is now 6 for Iowa City West.
Kopstick nailed both those free throws. I got a feeling those guards will make him, though, down the stretch.
Kopstick's an 85% free throw shooter. He's the guy they wanted on the line.
You got an injured player over there, got a forearm to the nose.
Meanwhile, the miss.
No one's seen it. The officials haven't seen it yet. He's been off the floor the entire time. Kopstick got a forearm right into the nose. It drove him off the baseline out of bounds. Not only did the official not see the play, he didn't see the kid not come back on the court. Here it is right here. Ooh, boom.
Oh, boom. Like he's not down for the count.
That's right. That's a good way to get your nose broken. He's out of the game, though. They really need him in there, too.
37.1 on the clock. A very good free throw shooter and a real dependable player at the line in Baumgarten. He's got 21 points.
Boy, he has just been excellent.
Let's look at the injury to Kopstick again. There you saw it right there.
That waters the eyes and hurts the nose.
22 for Baumgart, and West surges to an 8-point lead. And we have a timeout, and we'll be back at Veterans Auditorium in just a moment. One more time to look at the blow to the nose of Ryan Kopstick.
Yeah, Walliken, 23, I don't think he really saw him. He's just cutting through the lane. Boy, his forearm ran into that guy's nose, and the forearm always wins that battle.
And trying to remove the blood in case they want to put him back in. Salas doesn't get the roll. Rebound by Schaff, and Schaff is fouled. Now, at this point in the game, Iowa City West no longer wants to foul.
No, and they got the best free throw shooter for East up on the line right now. Schaff shooting about 72%.
In this game, he is 3 for 6. But you're right, an excellent free throw shooter on the year. Of course, the last thing the West wants to do is foul and have East get points with no time running down.
Not only that, but they'll substitute on this made free throw, which will stop the momentum and let them set up their press. But they didn't get the shot down.
That's the 13th rebound of the game for Glenn Worley. Worley fouled instantly. Wallakan on the foul, his 4th.
Worley has been a good free throw shooter, but has kind of struggled tonight from the line.
See Steve McGraw on his Waterloo East bench. This game has really been kind of a microcosm of their season. Not a lot of people expected a lot of them. They've had some struggles, yet they've kept fighting back. Well, in this game, they have never led, but they've also never given up. They kept fighting back.
No, and I think the win the other night, when you beat a team like Sioux City West, it's such an emotional win. It's very difficult to come back and duplicate that effort, you know, a day or so later.
Third rated, third seeded, Iowa City West, 27 seconds to protect the lead. That will be at least 7 and maybe more. The sophomore, the talented sophomore, Glenn Worley to the line. And here is Kopstick back in, but with a different uniform number. And you see the nose patched up there, so he couldn't wear that shirt because there was blood on it. So, well, that's an easy thing to do. They just change shirts.
Tough kid.
Yeah,
they need
so.
him. They need him in there, though. It's important.
Looks like he's got most of the contents of the doctor's bag in that nose to keep it from bleeding. Schaff back on. Mosley out. 27 seconds remain. It's an 8-point lead for Iowa City West.
Probably look for the 3 here.
And East has hit just 2 out of 6 from 3-point range so far. Schaff will try one.
And you're right, Larry. You know, the other day they made the 3s when they had to have them. They made a couple in a row when they had to have them. And they played almost a perfect game against West. Today they played their hearts out. They played hard, but they haven't been able to make the big shots when they really needed them.
There's a man who resurrected the West High program. 5 years before he got there, they won a total of 22 games. Since then, they've been to the state tournament a lot. In fact, 4 years in a row.
That's phenomenal. It's unbelievable that they hadn't won any more than that at a school like West, but for Coach Bergman to come in and do the job he's done, and seems like he's a fixture here in Vets. Every year they're here.
It's 23 for Ryan Baumgart.
Well, Coach McGraw, with 10 seconds to go, has conceded the game and has given the other kids on the team an opportunity to get onto the court. They know the game's out of reach with a 9-point lead. It's good to see those kids get on the floor and get a chance for some momentum for next year and know that they got a chance to play in the state tournament.
Recheck the point total for Baumgart. He has 22. Worley with 14, making 15 points and 13 rebounds. They lead the way. Number 50, Jeff Gordon, comes on the floor for West. Number 30, Bernard Gatlin is also in. Number 5, Curtis Jones comes on. Bunning goes out. Greg Johns, number 00, replaces him.
Hard-fought game today. There's nothing. There was no possession that was easy.
Kopstick goes 1 of 2 from the line, and with the rebound is Les Wilder. Wilder, number 3, in for East. With the shot. And it is all over. And it will be a Hoover, Iowa City West 4A championship game. Steve Bergman, the coach of West, and the coach of East, Steve McGraw. West led it all the way, but it wasn't easy.
It wasn't easy. 2 outstanding coaches. 2 teams have played as hard as they could. Sometimes the ball doesn't go in the hole, but that doesn't mean you have to quit playing defense, and neither team certainly quit playing defense today.
For Iowa City West, their 22nd win of the year, 22-1. Their record going to the championship game against unbeaten Hoover. That's the end of the game. With the score, Iowa City West 48 and Waterloo East 39. We'll be back after a word from your local station.